Hi, welcome to the Pearls and Polish podcast. My name is Rachel. I'm your host, coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. This is episode 37. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so excited to spend a bit of time with you. This is my corner of the internet where I talk about knitting and things I'm watching and books I'm reading, and we just kind of hang out. So welcome. Any of the makers, designers, yarn dyers, little shops that I mentioned in today's episode will be linked down below in the description so that you can check them out and support small businesses. That's something that's important to me, so when I can, I try and shop small. So, a little plug for them, but let's get to episode 37. So, finish objects. I literally just finished these and then grabbed my camera so I could start recording. These are my Elizabeth socks. The title started out as the Elizabeth socks. They're now called the coffee order socks. So this is, I don't even have them on blockers. This is a pattern by Lindsay Fowler of Larkspur Knits. You guys know I love Lindsay Fowler, she's a huge fan. But she had this test knit go out that was for a class that she's gonna be teaching. And it was kind of a choose your own adventure. There were like 3 different cuffs that you could do, a couple different heels that you could do, and then the foot. And so the idea is you just pick what you want. So obviously had to get in on this test knit. And so I chose to do a folded double cuff and an eye of partridge heel and then a shorty sock. You could also do a long sock. So I did the pop of color and the little heel flap was with my leftovers from the 2022 Grenouille Co's advent calendar from the main skein. So that one's called, I believe it's called Gormenghast. And then the gray is leftovers from Explorer Knits Wallflower. I think it's Wallflower. So anyways, I'm trying to like use up leftovers. So these were leftovers I had that I was like, this is gonna be great for socks. So those are done. I haven't woven in ends. I haven't pulled out any pins. I literally just like finished and I was like, okay, I have to record now. So, like I said, these started out being called the Elizabeth socks. And in the group chat about who was gonna do what and what combinations, I put in a comment saying, this feels like a coffee order, like Starbucks. You should change the name to the coffee order socks. And it became this thing. So now they're called the coffee order socks. And so I'm really excited that I could be a part of the naming process. The other thing I really like about this sock is it's got this little line on the toe, kind of like a commercial sock where you have like that one little stripe. It's got that on there too. So I think that's so fun. So finished. The pattern is not out yet, but as soon as it is, I will let you guys know. I will definitely be doing more of these socks, probably try the other combinations that she has available. But if you haven't checked out Lindsay's work, definitely check it out. Some of my most favorite sock patterns are from her. The high desert socks, high tide, slack tide. High tide is not one of them. Slack tide is one of them. Hearth and home. A lot of my favorites are from Lindsay. So check her out. Next are my color drop socks. They're exactly the same place as they were last week. I did not touch these at all. Now that my coffee order socks are done, these will get all of my focus so I can get this sock. I have to have one sock done for the test knit that I'm doing. So I can get that done and get that submitted, and then I'll take my time with the second sock. Next is my Engrain Shawl. This one got a bit of work since the last episode, but like over the last 3 days, I haven't touched it. But that's okay, I don't feel too bad about that. We have reached the one color section. So how much is the camera's picking up? So I am done using both colors. Oh no! I dropped a stitch, guys. No! How did this happen? Oh my gosh. You guys, I didn't even notice, but I have a stitch that I dropped and it's like 10 rows down. Oh my gosh, how did this happen? Pause. I need to get a pin. Okay. Slight crisis averted. So let me explain what happened. So I've been working on this shawl. Let me finish talking about the shawl. So I've been working on this shawl. It's by Sarah Opie of S Knits. It's a great pattern. This one is written as a 3-color fade. She also has a version that is a 20-color fade. So I know a lot of admins have 20 to 21 colors. So that is available as well. So I have finished blending colors 1 and 2, and I'm almost to the halfway point with color 2. And then that will also be the halfway point of the shawl. Then I start decreasing, and then you start blending colors 2 and 3. And then you take off with color 3. The crisis is when I held up my shawl, I noticed that there was a little like blip in the yarn. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why is there a blip? And when I looked at it, there is a stitch that, do you see where this pin is right here? This stitch right here is a live stitch and it's not connected to anything. So what that means is when I was knitting, I got to the stitch and instead of knitting it, somehow I dropped it and I just kind of kept going and it's managed to stay in place. However, if I were to pull on that, it's gonna run all the way down to the very bottom and I have now a nightmare on my hands. So I'm so thankful I caught it. And especially now I've got some room right here. So I'll be able to kind of fudge it. But I dropped a stitch. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I've done that. So what does that mean for me now? Now that means I'm gonna have to fix it. This is not, I mean, there are a couple things that you could do. And this is the option I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go to like where this stitch should be and just that one stitch, pull it all the way back, pick up the correct stitch and then knit it all the way back up. If I manage to do that today, I will record it so you guys can see what it is that I have to do. The other option is to rip all of that work all the way back, pick up the correct stitch and then fix it. I'm not interested in doing that. That's gonna be a lot of work lost. Is it worth it? Probably. The other option that could happen is that you just kind of tack it in place, either with a pin or with some scrap yarn. You just kind of weave it in and just leave it alone. I'm not all that interested in doing that either, since I do have like plenty of space to work with to fix this. So now I'm like a little paranoid that I missed a stitch somewhere else, but this will be great. So now you guys can see how to fix this. But that's the Engrain Shawl. That is still going wonderfully. Next is my Northeasterly. I am like all frustrated now that I found that and like, oh, what have I done? Okay, we're good. This is my Northeasterly blanket. If you're, like I said, if you're new, I'm doing Scrappy Sunday this year. I've always wanted to do Scrappy Sunday. Haven't been able to have a chance to do it just from other commitments. So this year's Scrappy Sunday, I'm doing the Northeasterly blanket. There's going to be a link to the Ravelry page in the description. But you basically make these chevron stripes. And so you join as you go. So there's no sewing in anything. You knit your ends as you go. So there's no weaving in ends unless you really want to. So it's a great stash buster. Most of the yarn that I'm using is my row 1 subscription, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then just scraps that I have left over from other projects, minis that I've collected over the last like 2 or 3 years. So all that's gonna be going into this project. So I'm very excited about that. So we've gotten a good chunk done. A couple months back, maybe a year back, I was doing all these teeny tiny granny squares. I think I have one in here. These little granny squares for a Battenberg blanket. Hold on, let me, come back here. Let me hold that a little closer. All right, so I was doing all these little crochet squares for a Battenberg blanket. And then I realized how much I did not like it. So I was kind of torn about what am I gonna do with all these minis that I have lying around that are already like made into granny squares. So I've been taking them apart and using them in this blanket. So right now, these like little stripes right here are the leftovers from, or rather those granny squares that I'm now merging into this blanket. So I know some of you gave some really great suggestions as far as make a pillow cover or add it in this way or try this. And they were great suggestions. I just wasn't all that interested in crocheting a full-blown project. So this has been working out great. This blanket's been going great. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this is going. I have picked it up a couple times on a not Sunday, but I can kind of do what I want because it's my project. So there is that. So the plan for kind of February, the February plan is to finish up first the color drop socks, these ones. Finish that first. Then finish up the Engrain Shawl. I do need like one more project so I can kind of rotate through things. So I'm gonna do one of my forgotten projects. I'm gonna finish my sweater that has been sitting for like 3 years. And then I'm gonna cast on a new sweater. I don't think I did one sweater last year, and I definitely want to do more since I do have like 5 sweater lots, and I just ordered another one yesterday. So I do need to work on my sweater quantities and kind of get those numbers down. So that is the plan. We'll see how that goes in a minute. Let's see. Next is Destash for Good. So I've talked about this a couple different episodes. Destash for Good is a fundraising event that is being hosted by Gary of Gary Knits, Gary Rides. He does the Life Cycle Ride every year, which is a 545-mile bike race from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It raises money and awareness for AIDS. So part of his fundraising efforts are the Destash for Good. So people have either donated or submitted yarn that they are destashing, and you can get some really great yarn at some really low prices. So I have, I think 6 that are still up. 2 have already been purchased straight out. There's a lot of stuff up that still doesn't have any bids on. So check it out. Everything's linked down below. It goes until February 6th. So you still have some time to get some really great yarn at some very, inexpensive prices. All this money is going towards Gary's life cycle race. So check that out if you haven't already. Next, row 1 mini subscription. So here it's crinkly. Here's my February row 1. It came in yesterday. Today is the 2nd. It came in on the 1st. I was so excited. I realized I got this fairly early and not everyone has gotten theirs yet. So if you have not gotten your row 1 mini subscription and you want to get it first before you see any spoilers, in the description, there are going to be timestamps for the different things that we talk about. So skip acquisitions and just go to the next timestamp so you won't see it, okay? Do that now. You've been warned. I'm gonna pull this out. So row 1 minis is a subscription where you get 10 gram samples of yarn from a new dyer every month. And so you get this little baggie, and then it has usually a little piece of candy. This month is a lollipop. I haven't eaten it yet. My kids tried taking it from me. I was like, no, you can't have that. There's a little stitch marker that's usually themed, and this one says love, because obviously it's February. Then there's a letter talking about who the yarn dyer is. So this is a yarn dyer that I'm not familiar with. This is Passion Yarns, and this is by Debbie out of Indiana. So like I said, I'm not familiar with Passion Yarns, but these colors are amazing. Okay, I'm gonna show the colors, so if you still don't wanna see, click away now. Okay, I'm trying. Oh my gosh, these are so bright and happy. I'm curious to see, not that one, like this one, and then on the front, this one right here, this one down here, this one up here. I'm wondering if those are self-striping or if those are just really fun colors. But these are super bright. So I'm excited to add these to my blanket, just because they're very different from what last month's colorways were. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. I'm so glad I'm doing the Real One Mini subscription this year. Next, let's talk about my January stats. As you guys know, if you've been here for the last couple of episodes, if not, that's okay, I'll fill you in. I am tracking how many skeins come in and how many skeins go out. If you check out the last video, I'm gonna link it in the cards up here. It's my planner setup, and there's a whole playlist on my planner. So I have a knitting planner that I'm using this year. So far it's been working out really well, but it's to kind of help me keep track of what am I working on, deadlines, stash acquisitions, and what I have and what I don't have. So it's been working out really well. Check out those videos, it's gonna have more information. But for January, I had 2 skeins come in and I had 15 skeins go out. Now, given 2 of them were sweater lots that I sold on Destash for good, but still, I had 2 come in and 15 go out. So I started the year with 108 full skeins. I don't count my minis or leftovers. And now I am at 95. So I think I'm at a pretty good start. And then I finished 6 books in the month of January. Now, I do a lot of audiobooks because I'm a mom and I do a lot of driving and I do a lot of things with my hands, so I can't always like sit and read. But audiobooks has been a great alternative for me. So I listen to my books quite a bit throughout the day. So that's how I'm able to get through quite a few books a month. But I finished 6 books this month. All right, next is Knit and Be Happy. This has been kind of a theme for 2024. And I think we're gonna make this part of the episode. Knit and Be Happy. For me, that means over the last 2 years, I have done very structured knit-alongs in the form of Year of Socks. And I love having Year of Socks. I loved having that goal of finish a pair of socks in 28 to 31 days. And then you have to do it again the next month and the next month and the next month. So I've done that for 2 years. For the 2023 Year of Socks, I ended up doing 15 pairs of socks instead of just 12. But to be honest, I'm a little burnt out as far as like meeting those deadlines. So this year I'm taking it off from Year of Socks. So I'm just kind of knitting what I want and I'm being happy about it. The problem with that comes is that I am struggling with feeling like I'm not accomplishing as much as I have in the years past. Now, that is purely a me feeling. There's no race, there's no prize, there's no like comparison. I am doing this to myself because I was completing at least one project a month. So when I would come on here to talk to you guys, I had at least something finished every single week. And this week I didn't work on a whole ton. Like I said, it was a hectic week. We had just all the things going on. And then I like try and get up early in the morning so I can knit before my kids get up. So I just have a little bit of quiet time. I've also been taking Taekwondo lessons, which has been great. However, I was sore for like 4 days this week. Like woke up and it's like, absolutely not. I'm not getting out of bed yet. I need to stay in bed and sleep some more, and everything hurts on my body. So I did not have as much knitting time as I typically do. And so like the perfectionist, like accomplishment part of me was like, I need to like stay up late. I need to get stuff done. I need to put other things aside and prioritize this because I need to finish things. And like having to take a second and say, no, I don't need to finish things. It's okay if I take a break. Has been a little difficult, to be honest, but it's been good in kind of unlearning certain behaviors and relearning it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to not have a finished object every week. That's where I'm at. So if this is you as well, please let me know in the comments below any other perfectionist performers out there, because it can be rough. So there's that. Reading and watching. I am still continuing my series by Allie Carter. It's called The Gallagher Girls. And really short synopsis, it's a private school for girls who are learning how to be spies, but no one knows that they're learning how to be spies. So I'm on the book Out of Sight, Out of Time. I think I have one more book left, and then I'm done with the series. So it's been a great kind of just low-key read. I've read this book many times, so I know what's going on, so I can kind of tune out if I need to. But I have been really enjoying that. And then what I've been watching, I started on Netflix. They're like docuseries on Alexander the Great. Now, Netflix originals can be kind of a hit or miss for me. Some of them have been really good, like the Shadow and Bone series. Really enjoyed it. Was very upset that they canceled it. Some of them are like not good at all. This one and the other ones that I've seen have been very good. It's a combination of like actor portrayal and historians telling a story. So I minored in history in college. So Alexander the Great was something that I studied quite extensively. So it was nice to be able to like revisit an old friend and see this interpretation of Alexander the Great. So if you enjoy stuff like that, definitely check it out. That is it for me for today. Like I said, I know this is a bit of a shorter episode. Things have been crazy. Not as much has gotten worked on. But at the same time, I feel like it's a good kind of reality check as far as it's okay not to have all the things done. Okay. Last thing before I sign out. I am almost to 500 subscribers. So the plan is, if I can hit 500 subscribers before next week's episode, we're gonna do a giveaway. I don't know, 500 sounds like a big number to me, so we got to celebrate that. So if you're not subscribed yet, but you are watching, subscribe so that you can join our giveaway next week. If we're not at 500 next week, then we'll push it to the following week, but we're almost there. So there is that. I think that's it for today. Thanks for spending a bit of time with me. It's been really great to share what I've been working on. Hearing back from you guys has been wonderful. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.